What if I told you one of the most prestigious black colleges in America just shut its doors to hundreds of students right before move-in day? No, this isn't a hypothetical. Howard University disenrolled over 500 incoming freshmen last minute, and honestly, this story reveals something much deeper about the systemic cracks in black education today. Let me explain why this isn't just about one university's financial struggles. It's about a generation's-old safety net unraveling at a time when black students need it most. Let's unpack the basics first. Howard's administration unenrolled students who hadn't paid tuition, then reversed some decisions after backlash. But here's what fascinates me: the outrage focuses on administrative timing, not the bigger question. Why are we treating HBCUs like disposable institutions when they are literally the blueprint for black upward mobility? These schools produce 80% of black judges and 75% of black PhDs, despite comprising just 3% of colleges. That's not a coincidence, it's a masterclass in resilience. But when we let financial barriers block access to these spaces, we are not just closing enrollment, we are closing doors to cultural preservation and intergenerational healing. Think about the mental health angle here. HBCU students report flourishing mental health at rates 9% higher than the national average. Why? Because these campuses are one of the few spaces where young black adults don't have to code switch or explain their existence. The poet Paul Laurence Dunbar wrote about weary years and masked grins over a century ago, and honestly, HBCUs are still the primary spaces where that mask can finally come off. When students get denied entry to Howard, they are not missing out on dorm tours, they are losing access to environments where their psychological survival is treated as infrastructure. But here's the paradox. We are seeing tuition hikes at HBCUs while PWIs, predominantly white institutions, keep gobbling up diversity grants. Did you know black students at HBCUs are twice as likely to escape the disconnected youth trap compared to their peers? Yet policymakers keep treating these schools like outdated relics instead of the innovation hubs they are. I mean, Howard's alumni include Thurgood Marshall and Chadwick Boseman. That's the entire spectrum from legal revolution to cultural storytelling. What other institutions can claim that kind of dual impact? And let's dissect this disenrollment timing. Announcing it weeks before move-in wasn't just bureaucratic failure, it exposed how vulnerable these students' dreams are to institutional instability. But here's the twist: HBCUs have thrived through worse. They were born during Reconstruction, survived Jim Crow, and outlasted segregation. If these universities could weather lynch mobs and funding freezes in the 1920s, why are we letting 2025's version of systemic neglect chip away at their future? This isn't just about tuition payments, it's about whether America will finally invest in the institutions that have kept black excellence alive despite centuries of opposition. What's really haunting is the generational shift we are witnessing. My parents' era saw HBCUs as sacred ground. Today's teens are growing up in a world where elite universities are rolling back DEI initiatives and affirmative action's dead. So when Howard turns away 20% of its incoming class, it's not just a financial footnote, it's a warning sign that the pipeline for black leadership is under quiet siege. Because let's be real, losing access to Howard isn't just losing a degree. It's losing the cafeteria conversations that birth movements, the protest chants that echo through decades, and the professor relationships that turn into lifelong mentorship networks. Those 500 students aren't just missing a classroom, they are being kept from the incubator of Black America's future architects. So here's my challenge to you. When we talk about educational equity, do we actually want systemic change, or just better PR? Because if we are serious about racial progress, we can't keep treating HBCUs as budget line items. These are the laboratories where black genius gets weaponized against oppression. Until we recognize that, stories like Howard's will keep repeating not as exceptions, but as symptoms of a country that still hasn't decided whether Black excellence deserves real investment or just performative celebration.